For the pure Fire Druid, no item comes even close to Ravenlore, with +3 to elemental skills, -20 enemy fire res, as well as 25 all res. This single piece completely eclipses just about every other item option in the game with its raw power. Well, that was until Blizzard just revealed its newest runeword, Flickering Flame, which might be the first instance of strict power creep to be revealed coming in patch 2.4. But there's no way they're just strictly replacing such an iconic item on such a powerful build, right? Well, let's get into it. Ravenlore's shiny exterior starts to break down just a little bit when you think about the fact that all of the primary stats on this can actually roll. So the minus enemy fire res can roll between 10 to 20, the energy on it can roll between 20 to 30, and then the all resistance can roll between 15 to 25. And in fact, the chances of getting a perfect Ravenlore are only 1 in 41,000. So while you can socket this bad boy and put into it a perfect facet, getting you an additional 5% to your fire damage, and -5% to your enemy fire resistance, Ravenlore still probably outperforms just about any other option in the game for the Fire Druid. That was until we got our hands on Flickering Flame. Flickering Flame is a runeword that's built into a 3-socket helmet using a Nef, Pull, and a Vex, which means after building your Hodo, this will almost certainly be the second item that you build on your Fire Druid. But why is that? First and foremost, it says +3 to all fire skills, so it's already checking the same box as Raven. And in addition to that, it's actually also empowering Fire Claws, which we know is getting some kind of overhaul in patch 2.4. Then you get access to a level 8 fire resistance aura for free. So that's going on to you, your party members, as well as your mercenary, which is incredibly important since most of your fire druids are running an Infinity mercenary that's also using an Endariel's Visage. So this one item alone is completely showing up all of their fire res issues, meaning that you can better allocate more damage onto their build with whatever you socket into their Andy. Then it looks like we have a static -13 to enemy fire resistance. So, while slightly less than the Ravenlore, and also certainly less than a Ravenlore that would have a facet in it, this thing is already outperforming a min to average roll Ravenlore with just that one stat alone. Then you have flat +88 to mana, which doesn't seem that impactful, but keep in mind that mana that you gain from plus energy on skills actually isn't increased by battle orders once you have your CTA. Whereas flat mana is. So, on paper, this already outperforms the min and max roll of energy for the druid, but then on top of that gets an additional bonus when you're using your CTA. And then also keep in mind that especially since you're going to be using an infinity on this build, you don't have access to insight. So this plus flat mana is going to help even out your overall gameplay style, considering we know they're looking to do something about how the delays work on fire skills in the next patch. The 3 stats that you're going to get from the runes themselves are a small amount of additional defense first missiles, a small amount of enhanced defense on the base item, and then the +5 fire resistance from your Vex rune. So that means that with a basic kit of items, this fire res aura as well as the plus to max fire res means that you're almost certainly going to be sitting at the 80 fire resistance cap without having to add anything else to your kit. This will also help to offset any conviction aura or low resist that you run into, especially when farming inside of the Chaos Sanctuary, considering that fire resistance is your second most important resistance after lightning, and in many circumstances actually your primary resistance. Now, the 2 dubious stats are the half freeze duration as well as the poison length reduce, which I get it. It's a flickering flame, it keeps you kind of warm, it helps to burn out a poison in your system. I really wish that these 2 things would either be combined in some more meaningful way, either giving you cannot be frozen or 100 to minus enemy poison res. In either direction, I feel like it's a half measure that doesn't get you too much, but it is free stats for nothing. In fact, these could basically not be on the item at all, and it would still absolutely blow you away. Now let's talk about the real reason why this thing drastically outshines any other option on a fire druid, not even talking about any other fire builds which would benefit from this amazing item. It is a socketed helmet. That means that you're able to put this into a druid pelt that could have up to 3 +3 skills on it. That's right. you could be walking around a helmet that says +6 to Fissure, +6 to Armageddon, and either +6 to Molten Boulder or +6 to Volcano. Or if you go to the other end of the range, you could get +6 to Firestorm, +6 to Fissure, +6 to Molten Boulder, not to mention +6 to Fire Claws. Now, I hear the argument coming up, and before you drop it down in the comments, let's talk about it. Mac, minus enemy fire resistance is the most powerful stat for any elemental build, and in most cases you would be absolutely correct. But what you need to remember is that half of the fire tree on the druid actually has a physical damage component, which does not benefit from minus enemy fire res in any way, shape, or form. But what they do benefit from is plus to skill. The impact of an additional +3 to these skills over Ravenlore means that your overall damage potential is assumedly much higher than just running the pure fire kit that Ravenlore is originally used on. Now, I also hear you, I get it. Ravenlore does have +7 to summon Raven, and I myself also love absolutely never summoning those Ravens, except when I'm bored during a Bale run. So RMP to the Ravens, may they stay forever in Diablo's clutches. But quite honestly, this item is going to almost single-handedly change the entire power structure of the druid as we know it, and that's without seeing the changes from patch 2.4, where I am assuming that the overall power scale is going to go absolutely through the roof. Now, just to very quickly touch on some other builds where this might be the best in slot kit, being able to build something like a Flickering Flame means that you basically have a Nightwing's Veil, but for fire Boazons. And then in addition to that, being able to build Flickering Flame is something that you could use on a fire Trapsin. Now, while the minus enemy fire res isn't going to work on your traps, they are all considered fire skills, so +3 will apply to all of them, and also give you these really amazing survivability bonuses that Flickering Flame offers in its resist fire. Also, building this item is almost certainly going to empower both the Act 1 and Act 3 mercenary. Not to mention just throwing it on a mercenary for hardcore group playthroughs, where having that resistance aura is just going to absolutely help smooth out any of the danger that you would run into. The Act 1 mercenary is going to be getting some form of AoE skill added to her kit, which I almost assuredly assume is going to be something like Immolation Arrow. Now, in addition to Mist being revealed, that's going to add +3 to all skills and 100% Pierce, your Act 1 Fire Mercenary can be running +6 to her fire skills, give herself maximum fire res, and give you a resistance aura that's going to help keep her alive, your party alive, and help her dish out as much damage as possible. And what I really think might be the sleeper agent here is the Act 3 Mercenary. This helmet says +3 to its fire skills, minus enemy res, as well as the massive resistance bonus for himself, and the fact that they want to be adding some types of utility skills across the board on Act 3 Mercenaries. But I'd like to hear from you. What do you think about this item as a whole? Do you think that this is legitimate power creep? Are you concerned about power creep, or do you just want the game to continue to be balanced in a way where every new item that we see isn't necessarily shaking up the meta? In all honesty, I welcome something like this that is bringing a ton of power to the more underutilized build niche, which is the fire build in general. And I'm really excited to see where this slots into best in slot options for all of the different classes that would benefit from it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. I hope that this helps to illustrate just what these different rune words really mean for the overall balance and power scale walking into the first ladder season, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.